The real estate market is changing, and it affects not only me as an agent, but you as a consumer. My name is Lisa Wozniakowski. I am a broker owner. I'm a realtor at Blue Ribbon Realty in Crown Point, Indiana. Starting July 1st, the real estate landscape is completely changing, and I think it's important that you guys know that and that you have an idea so you're not blindsided if you are thinking about making a move, if you want to sell a home, or if you're looking to buy a home, because it's not going to be the same. NAR, the National Association of Realtors, was in class action lawsuits with other companies that were also named, and there was a settlement that was announced in March. Those settlements are taking place later this summer. However, in Indiana, there was a license law change that takes place July 1st of this year, which is rapidly approaching. But to give you an abstract summary of what the changes are, it's very simple. I'm going to break it down as much as I can, and then I'm going to leave you with links to do your own research as well. The ultimate goal is to be more transparent to our clients. Typically in the past, we would see sellers would list a house for sale and they would pay the compensation for the listing agent, their agent, and the buyer's agent most times. And I say most times because there's always exceptions to everything. And I've seen a lot in 20 years of selling real estate. What I will say is the seller can still offer commission to the buyer's agent. That's absolutely okay. We as agents cannot put it in our MLS and advertise it to other agents. We can tell agents, we cannot put it in our MLS any further as a data point. On the buyer side, we now have to have a buyer agency agreement before we tour a home with a buyer. These are NAR and license law mandated changes, and they're kind of being combined in Northwest Indiana, and they're all taking place July 1st. The license laws, if you're working with a seller, you have to have a written agreement. If you're working with a buyer, you have to have a written agreement. The NAR mandated change is that you have to have an agreement with the buyer before you tour a home. So I can send you homes, you can visit my website, but before I physically take you in somebody else's house, we have to have a written agreement in place. That written agreement is to be more transparent and to be clear cut. And it's not just me that has to do this. Every licensee in Northwest Indiana that is also a realtor has to abide by this as well. So that means we need to meet before you start looking at homes. We need to meet. We need to put the parameters of what you're looking for. In that contract, it lays out compensation. It also says that we can ask the seller to pay it. I want to be very clear. And the seller is not required, but they can if you ask and they want, or they can offer if they choose to do so. Not every buyer can afford to pay their agent, in which case there is the notation that this is what I charge, this is what the agent charges, and we can ask the seller to pay that as a concession if you would like to do so. Those are the major changes. What does this mean for buyers and sellers? Well, I think it creates an entire range of possibilities. You now can shop around before you start officially looking at homes to see who's the best agent for you. And if people, such as yourself, thought I never had to meet and sign a contract with a buyer's agent before I would just call and look at a home, that is changing. One thing that I have to help me wrap my head around these changes when they were announced in March, if you ever needed the assistance of an attorney, they're going to make you sign paperwork before they start working for you. If you needed a roofer to come out and put a roof on your house or a contractor to do work on your home, they probably had you sign some paperwork before they actually did the work. If you see a doctor for anything, you have to sign papers before you get in that room to visit with the doctor. This is the world we live in, and transparency is needed. I think it's going to create a market where agents that have experience, you pay for what you get. Just as I'm going to throw it out there, are you going to call Dr. Nick on The Simpsons, or are you going to call Rush and say, I need a second opinion? The links are below. The links are attached to this video wherever you're looking at it. And if you got this video in an email, it means that at some point you signed up on my website or provided me your email address, or you wanted the value of your home. You went to an open house and we had a conversation and you gave me your email. And it could be, I've been doing this for 20 years and this is going out to people from my entire database in the past 20 years. It's also going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Instagram. It's going to be on all my social media because it's important people know that this is the new way of doing things. We can meet virtually. We can talk on the phone, but we need to have a contract signed before I help you buy a home. If you are thinking of buying a home, don't delay. Talk to an agent and get an agreement with them so you have somebody that you are committed to and they are committed back to you. And if you are a seller, don't fret. We're still going to sell your home. It actually might save you money in the long run. So there's a benefit to everybody, buyers, sellers, and honestly, to have it as an agent, I think it is in my best interest to have a contract with a buyer, just as I have always done with a seller. And I've been using buyer contracts for years. If there's anything we can do to help, let us know. There are links also to schedule an appointment with me either via phone, Zoom, FaceTime, or in person. Thank you for watching.